Hi everyone, welcome to North Dakota Pulse, a show about our legislative session. We're actually going to take a pause on our legislative session for just a second, because I want to talk to you about all those executive orders that are getting signed, inducing quite a lot of panic in quite a lot of people. Last I heard, the federal freeze on our funds of our government, the memo for that order was rescinded, but a statement from the White House saying that actually please follow that memo, even though it's probably illegal, you should still follow it, please, came out afterwards. What we are going into is an interesting time of silliness, governmental silliness. And I know a lot of people are very worried about this for good reasons. It's scary when your federal government is being silly and doing things it shouldn't and isn't possible to do. Kind of a Homer Simpson inside the power plant situation, I think, is what we are feeling, and that's appropriate. But to reframe some of those exciting feelings that we're having of doom and dread about the power plant likely to explode at any moment, we should understand that it's not the end of the game. We are not at checkmate or soon to be check or checkmate in 3. And a lot of people are taking some of these actions which have been on the table for like a week and assuming the absolute worst of our society and the end of times. And I understand why people are afraid and upset. There is silly, awful shit happening. I get that. But what I also want you to understand is this is not the end of the game, it is the beginning of it. We don't know how all these things are going to play out, and the best way to understand this is in this game of chess, we have seen a single move. And what it is a pawn that has moved forward. That is all that we have seen on the table. However, that pawn moved diagonally one, and that is like weird and surprising. So what we're doing is we're asking the judge, hey, our opponent just moved their pawn diagonally, and we don't think that's allowed. And we believe the judge or the judicial branch will also say, actually, you're right. Pawns don't move diagonally one to the left or right. That's not how that piece works. They have to move forwards for a while, and they can move diagonally to take other pieces. So, I get the confusion. That's where we are at. I think it's important that we don't jump so strongly to every conclusion we could. It is scary. The stuff that we're seeing is silly and awful in many ways. It is frightening people of every demographic. It is a bipartisan cluster F of a situation for everyone. And that's good because a lot of people are asking, why is such terrible things happening? And that gets us a little bit focused on the things that are going on. But I want you to understand, for every action that we see here, there is a reaction to it. And the more intense these actions are, the more intense reactions to them become. Our government is designed not to break in a single day. That is why we try to establish this government to be stable and to not change very much. There are a ton of checks and balances, and even if we think to the worst ends that this is a bought and sold government that is doomed to die now, it is not. There are still people who have different beliefs, have nuanced beliefs, and have breaking points over seeing terrible stuff. A lot of what's happening is big. It's far over any of our heads to do much about. Maybe yell to our representatives, we could do that. We could yell to the members of Congress in our state, we can do that and let them know that we don't like a lot of the shenanigans going on. We are empowered to do so. But when we think about these gigantic, enormous things that a person can't really do much about, we feel powerless. And I get that. And when we are in those circumstances, the best thing that we can do is really find a way to trust the process of assuring that we have a stable society that continues to function. And when we think about all these big, weird, scary pawn move left moves that we're getting right now, what you have to reframe that as is holding the line. Now, holding the line can mean anything you want it to, but what it means is we are going to work for a society that is stable. We have large disagreements about, society and parties and taxes, but we all generally agree that we should have roads, that lights should be on or off when we want them, that we should be fed, that we should have some security when we are sick or old. There's a lot we agree on, and we don't want to see places crumble to dust over petty nonsense, really. So when we think about our day, our today and our tomorrow, and what we do and how we participate and how we show up, well, think about how you can hold the line. And the easiest way a person can hold the line is to just try to be as calm as possible about these things. Don't jump to the conclusions with the first thing that you hear. Don't go online to talk about the end of times. Like, these are scary times, yes, but hold back. Wait a week, see what actually plays out, because there's contagion that happens when we are scared and anxious that make other people scared and anxious, which makes us a little less rational for how we understand things, how we respond to them, how we decide what we want to do in our lives. It's hard to say this to balance the scariness that does absolutely exist and the chessboard that we're on that leads to a very unstable society, yes. But these are big things. The little things we can do is continue to support each other, to be kind to each other, to check in with our community in places we do have power in. We can talk to our mayor, we can talk to our city hall all across the state and let them know what our values are. We can talk to our lawmakers and representatives. We have North Dakota to make waves in and to represent us at the national stage. When you think about your response to this, think about where you can hold the line, what you can do to hold the line, to make sure that tomorrow does not look drastically different than today, and that we can still have a stable, functioning society. When things are really big like this, sometimes it's helpful to look at smaller things that we can do. Like I mentioned, supporting your community, but any way it makes sense to you, hold the line. Do your best to hold the line. And I think that we'll see a lot of this really extreme stuff happening, this absolute shenanigans of illegal chess moves. A lot of that's going to fade away the more that we stand up against it. So I wanted to take at least a moment in a time in an episode to talk about all that, because it's big and it's heavy and people are terrified. Just keep on making it to tomorrow, make it one day at a time, and we will continue to sort this stuff out. Hold the line the best you can in your life, with your family, in your communities, and eventually waves like this do break. And every day we have a chance to make the future better. So I just want to do my part in holding the line tonight, and every day that I do work like this. Tomorrow I'll go back to the legislative session unless it's just other stuff happens. And we are going to be hearing more bills. I have them all on my website like always. I'll have new hearings for next week for all the bills that I'm tracking, and I'm going to keep on doing more work to keep people informed and empowered. Try to get involved in any small way you can, because you feel more powerful when you do. You feel more resilient and you feel more capable responding to the struggles that we see today. So as we have challenges on the table like we often do, I just want to say, as always, yay democracy. I still believe in it. I still believe in humans, and I still believe we can rise to better than what we see today. So that's what I got for you tonight. See you tomorrow.